I'm Mr. Jackson, Chief Meteorologist David Heckard. Hurricane Preparedness Week continues, and today's topic is what to do after the storm. We're all relieved when the storm ends across our area. However, the dangers are still there, and unfortunately, a lot of injuries and even some fatalities have occurred during the storm recovery phase. Well, there's some important tips to know here as we head into kind of that post-storm mode, and one of the bigger ones is we want to stay evacuated until we are cleared to do so. The evacuation routes, even if they are still open down 95 towards the beach areas or inland, or from inland areas back towards the coast along I-10, want to make certain our particular neighborhood is open. It sometimes takes time for emergency managers and first responders to kind of survey the damage, make certain that the area is safe for individuals to go into. And even when it isn't necessarily the safest, you still may want to give yourself a little bit of time. I know we're all kind of itching to get back home, but we want to make certain that we are safe as we continue to work our way into our neighborhood. We don't want to get ourselves in a kind of worse scenario, and there's a lot of work to be done, of course, when we are digging out, if you will, and continuing that recovery phase. One of the big things you want to do is inspect the outside of your home, make sure there aren't any down power lines, any down gas lines, anything that seems a bit suspicious. If your home starts cracking or begins settling, you want to evacuate the home, call 911 immediately, and potentially find another place to stay until we can have a more significant structural review of your facility. And of course, power lines are a huge danger. Here's a power line during Ian in southwest Florida that actually caught fire, and down power lines can be hidden. We can have underground power that has been damaged. We can have power lines that can be submerged in water or in swimming pools. So anytime you see a line that's dipping downward, it is a very good idea to just stay away from that line. In addition, flooding is a huge concern, and keep in mind, as we have seen here in the Jacksonville area, the floodwaters can actually increase as the storm exits. It can last for days on end, and so don't ever drive through flooded roadways. Even if in your particular neighborhood the floodwaters are common, they may be significantly deeper than you actually think, especially at nighttime, and definitely don't walk through those floodwaters. That floodwater can be filled with creatures like alligators and snakes, chemicals that have been dumped in due to the storm surge event that occurred during the storm itself. And also, again, we could have some power lines and just raw sewage floating around. Finally, and probably most importantly, are the generators. We want to make certain that you're operating the generator safely. Generators like this, which are portable generators, we want to keep them outside of garages and homes. Even if your garage door is open, even if the windows are open in your home, you need to keep this generator well away from your structure, because carbon monoxide can continue to build, and it can lead to serious illness, if not death, with carbon monoxide poisoning. So we want to operate these generators at a minimum 20 feet away from any structure, window, or door. That is the safe way to operate generators. And then finally, communications can be a big issue, especially on barrier islands and areas that could have been hit especially hard. It could be very difficult to get help in case you need it, and communication may be very, very difficult in post-storm events. That's why we always advise people to do text messages, social media, and email. It doesn't take up as much bandwidth as, say, a video call or a phone call does on the telephone lines, cell phone lines, and on the internet connections as well. So the post-storm recovery mode can be very, very dangerous, but again, we want to emphasize some of these tips to keep you prepared after the storm itself. I'm Assistant Chief Meteorologist David Heckard for Channel 4, the local station.